It's your podcast. Fucking hell.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Off the Script podcast. Jermaine is missing in action today, but Joe and a special guest presenter, Mr.
Jack Thorburn.
There we go.
I can't introduce myself.
Yes, you can. Anyway, and today's special guest is Mr. Dan Bastick. How's it going, Dan?
I'm definitely special.
100%.
My mum's all the time. I'm good.
Especially me.
I'm glad to finally get on here. I'm sorry about the other day.
Don't worry, man.
I did explain. And I finished at 6 o'clock. Then there's the whole line on the floor for about half hour after. Then you have to cook your meal. It wasn't on. And it wouldn't have made a good podcast anyway. It was absolutely filth. I was dead.
What did you train? Legs or back?
Yeah, it was legs. Yeah, tell you what though, every session right now is putting me in the ground. Even my push sessions ruins me.
I think ultimately, if whatever you go to like true failure on, and like you get up for most of your sets, don't you? That's the thing. It's
yeah,
so the cycle. It saps you psychologically. I think that's the main thing. Like if you really get wound up for things, it does drain you for the rest of the day. So it doesn't really matter, you know, if you're really getting into a set of curls, even that can sap you.
Finish you off pretty easily. So
yeah, no,
especially with the weights that you're lifting.
Yeah, I think it's not just that, but even when you're out at the gym and you're carrying around the weight, every little task becomes a task, if you know what I mean. There's that as well. Like you think your time out at the gym is to recover, but when you're heavy, it's like it's not. You're not recovering because you're lugging around all this weight all the time.
So you've basically got the lethargy of prep year round, really. So you're either lethargic because you're low on food, or you're lethargic because you've got too much in you, sort of thing, you know?
Oh, I love prep. Prep is easy until that last four weeks.
Yeah.
Last 4 weeks, all right, that's pretty shit. It's fun, but it's shit. But the mental clarity you have throughout prep, like I'm so productive. Yeah. One thing I'll say about prep, and Joe, have you ever competed?
Not yet. I'm looking to compete either next year or the following year. I was supposed to compete this year, but obviously all this happened, and I got sick.
Yeah, you will get this, and Jack will know what I mean. Like, if you think, so me and Jack are kind of on it all year round anyway. Like, it doesn't really change prep to off season. Maybe a little bit more lenient with an off-plan meal here and there. Add a little bit of food on top if you feel you need it for the training the day after. But I'm already very analytical of how I think and how I see myself and what situation I'm in. When you get in prep, you become so much more introspective. Like you get almost, you know, like Machiavelli motivation videos. Like I could read something off and someone could put a bit of music on the background and it would hype you up. You become that type of person, or how that seems in my head anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get very very tunnel visioned and very.
You think of the same goal over and over all the time. It's all you think about, really. Which, like, I'll be the first to admit that when that's in my mind and I've got that goal, it's literally everything goes on the back burners, really. I think everything else is sort of, I just, as in like daily tasks, I do them, I tick them off. Like work, for example, I just do them, but that's still there in my mind, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's just a stopgap, really, because when you got a clear vision of what you want your bigger picture to be, everything that doesn't relate to that bigger picture is just a time filler, really. So
it goes down to little things like
like
the dog isn't. So I live kind of across the street from my parents, and the dog is in the house there, and he's on his own, but I need to sleep another 2 hours before the next meal, hydrate enough, then eat, then go back to sleep. It's fucking selfish. And the dog could do with a walk, but no, my mum could do that. I know it sounds horrible. It sounds absolutely horrible, but that's the mentality. I wish it wasn't like that, but that's the only way I can operate. And I'm not going to lie, it's been like this up to this off season as well. especially during this off season. A lot of people wondering how I've made such a jump. Like if you followed me in the last 3 years, yeah, I've always made good progress and I've made leaps, but particularly in the last 6, 7, 8 months, I've really propelled forward.
Yeah, Dan, it's funny you say that, because that was going to be the first question that I was going to pose to you. Because you've always been on it. Like, you've always trained incredibly hard. You've always trained incredibly heavy as well. Your nutrition's, from what I know, has always been on point. Where, however, I feel that the progress that you've made, like you said, the past, well, essentially since you stopped competing last year. So the progress you've made since then has far outweighed the progress you made previously. And what do you think? Well, what do you attribute that down to? So I think you were about to lead on to that then.
So what occurred at the same time as I competed, I finished my masters. When I was doing my masters, I couldn't prioritize sleep. I had to, bow down to my studies. I trained, I ate, I did everything I could, but I couldn't do the little minutia things I'm doing now. I call them minutia, but they can't be, because now, I'll give you an example. My day goes like this. So on a training day, I'll get up, I'll hydrate, do the dishes, whatever. I'll eat a meal, hydrate a little bit more. So I've got about 2 liters in me, like around that meal. Then I'll go back to sleep. I'll get another 2 hours sleep. Already we're talking about 9 hours sleep.
Yeah.
I'll get up, I'll hydrate before the next meal. Then I'll go back to sleep. I'll probably get about an hour. Now I've got about 10, maybe 11 hours sleep. It's honestly, it's actually, people say, oh, what a life. Do it. It's actually kind of hard, because I'm the type of person that I need to do shit. I always need to be doing stuff. And for me to sit down and just bow down to rest and recovery, it kills my mindset. I feel like a lazy bastard. But if you can, and you're not doing that, then yes, you're a lazy person, but you're not a lazy bodybuilder.
No. There's a reason why it's called the pro lifestyle, because it's what they do to get to the level that they're at. So, obviously I've got online coaching as well, and I'm very selective about my clients. So if I have a Q&A process, I go for a Skype consultation, I want to make sure that this client's not going to cause me any stress, because stressors are another thing that killed me for ages. The masters, you think about stressors, you like picture a bucket and having all your stresses go into the bucket, then overflow. And the stuff that falls out the bucket is what is holding you back. You need to keep the level as low as you can. It's huge, absolutely huge. And I've configured my lifestyle around people who I need to be around. And I've taught my family how to deal with me. To be honest, again, sounds awful. It's not their fault, and it's not. But they want this goal for me as well. And they know, for example, I was talking to a friend last night about this. They know that they don't tell me a piece of bad news first thing in the morning, because I'm not starting my day off like that. That's just, to me, that's actually for anyone. You don't do that. You don't start your day off bad. No. And you especially don't tell me a piece of bad news or try and stress me out before I go to bed. Or before I train. And I probably don't want to hear it after I train either. So just don't tell me bad news. Yeah, no bad news ever.
Keep me out of it. Just keep me out of it. And that's so important to go on to being around the right people. I've got such a small circle. Yeah. I'll go to say that I'm not alone. I've got these people around me, but I'm lonely. I'll admit, I'll say that. But it's only because I've been very brutal about the people I allow in. Because I know any influence could not stray me away from what I'm doing, or, delay meals or sleep or anything like that, but could alter my mindset in a way that I become more like them and not more like I want to be. That's been a massive, massive thing for a long time for me. But I mean, you've got to let people in. I mean, I've learned this, girlfriends, stuff like that, just be very selective and know they're the right people. I'm now being very slow on that side of things, of letting people in, like relationships, because especially girlfriends, if they don't understand that you need to sleep, you need to get meals in, or every time you eat a meal, oh, you've really got to eat again, or oh, you've got to train again, then that's not good. It's not going to work. I'm sorry. But then in hindsight, if this girl, if she's a competitor and that's why she understands, I don't want when I'm not training, I don't want to talk about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
That's stress to me, because the way I've configured my lifestyle now, it is like a job. And when I'm not doing it, I don't want to talk about it. Honestly, like, you know, it's very easy to make your identity become the bodybuilder. When you have a relationship, I'm going to step out of that box and into that box and just be Dan. Do you know?
I remember Tom Platt saying something similar to that. It was like, be the bodybuilder in the gym, be the bodybuilder around the gym when you're just by yourself. But when it comes to, you know, going home to the missus or whoever it may be, you know, you got to flick that switch and say, hi, honey, I'm home. I've left that person at the gym, so to speak.
That's a perfect way of putting it. That's how I describe it. To be honest,
it's like I've recently, after discussing like with a lot of people, especially on here, and just having more time to think by myself, I've been very fortunate with my relationship with Katie, because we've been together since the start of college. It's like 3.5 years now, so like nearly 4 years. And I told her back then, you know, I was always training and stuff. You know, at the time I was doing my American football and had team games and fucking training and shit like 3 times a week and stuff. But I said, you know what, I kind of want to get into just more of the training thing, because I fucked up my shoulder, and just, I said to her, it's going to take up a lot of time. It's going to take a long time for you to actually say, shit, it's paying off. I said, but just bear with me. And you know, fortunately enough for me, you know, we've been through some hard shit, but she's stuck with me along the way. And, you know, so I've been very fortunate.
And as you're learning, she's growing with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're learning. You're at such an age, we all are. We're at such an age where we're learning so much about this sport that we didn't know before, and we're growing along with it. And if you've got a partner that's literally gone in from the start with you, she started with you as well. She gets it. She's going to get it. And that whole thing about you saying, you know, it's going to take a while to see why I'm doing this, I couldn't describe that better. My parents, I couldn't admit to them my goals until this year. I couldn't admit it to them. After I got off stage at the British, my mum said, you have no, your masters is just a plan B, isn't it? I said, yeah. I'll be honest, I had a very deep conversation with my mum and dad. My mum always knew about the gear and stuff like that. She found out. It was pretty, like, my dad must have known. He must have. He's not naive. He did it himself, so he must have known. But it's like, I'll be honest, it was quite an emotional conversation, because, I talked about the gear with him and stuff like that, and I talked about how I go about mitigating health consequences, my blood work, even get organ scans a year now. But I try to put it in a way that he would try and understand. So when I was a kid, my dad wasn't around a lot. He was always working. He had such a tunnel vision about getting this goal he had in his mind. I'm not doing the same thing as he did to earn his keep, but I've got that same drive for something, but it's my thing, it's not his thing. And it just clicked. It clicked in his head. You know, it's not gonna seem to pay off right now, but it will.
Yeah.
I think they probably see they obviously see the drive and determination you have. And I think they understand potentially that if you continue to apply that, then your goals are achievable. And when they see that effort, then that's probably why they've sort of realized that it is achievable for you.
Yeah, I think so. But and as well, along with that, they do separate my identity. We don't talk about bodybuilding in my house, which is awful. But whenever someone comes round, like, it kind of seems like my dad doesn't talk about it a lot, like about me bodybuilding and stuff like that. It doesn't. Sometimes I kind of think he's not proud of it. But then he has someone come round, and they always say, like, fucking size of him. that type of thing. And he goes, yeah. Then he starts talking about it. And then when he starts talking about it, I see that he does kind of get it. He's like, he talks quite proudly of it. And that's the little moments like that kind of make me think, just stick this out. Like, you know, don't just think you're doing this for no reason, if you know what I mean. And it is a goal that the longer you stick with it, the more chance you do of achieving it, for sure. So I can agree with that, what you say about that.
So if we were to go back to sort of the initial question, so you're attributing the massive amount of progress you've had, so this will probably shock people,
Okay.
the massive amount of progress you've had over the past sort of 6 months has all been down to you basically putting yourself in an optimal position physically and mentally to grow. Like the selection of the people you're around, the sort of mitigating of stressors.
Yeah. Then there's the progressive fronts of training. So my incline bench has gone from 3 plates for, I think it's 6 reps PB, to now 4 plates for 4. That, you know, that's, or let's say 3 plates now for 15 I got the other day. That's a huge jump. And tell me, when you're not in a surplus, your chest or anything isn't going to grow. And
also all those things that we just mentioned, they will ultimately affect your training as well. They're not just going to affect you, how you physically look. They're going to affect your performance massive. You know, sleep on performance is a massive thing. So like you said, if you've increased it that much, your strength progress, well, your strength prior to this 6 months, 8 months was pretty good already, you know? So it's been apparent that what the difference that sleep has made in that as well.
It's the environment you put yourself in to make changes. And it's always the rate of change as well. I've never increased lifts the way I have in that run as fast as I had. I've never done it that fast.
Like you have no right to be increasing the amount you are. Do you know what I mean? Like you're already a very strong individual. So for you to be making the progress you are at the rate that you are, is how are your joints on at the moment? Because obviously they take a little while to get used to it, but you're sort of at the strength now where they're probably just accustomed to the heavy load anyway. But
yeah. My right knee has been bothering me for a long time.
You've had that for a while though, haven't you?
A long time. I'd say probably just before start of lockdown, my right knee.
Didn't you used to have knee issues before?
Yeah, I used to have patella pain in my left knee, but that's gone totally. Now it's just my right knee. So whatever is causing that, obviously you can have stress on the tendons because they're trying to keep up with the loads.
Have you had any like tissue work done or anything since?
No, well, not since lockdown. That's what I mean.
That potentially could be
something is compensating.
Imbalances somewhere.
Yeah, I mean I've popped stuff. I've popped pet fibers. Luckily, I've come out of no tears. What's I done? My elbows are pretty good. They started flaring up a little bit earlier this week, but that was due to skulls. So we've taken skull crushers out and just replaced them with a cable pushdown, which has always served me quite well, actually. What else? Apart from that, I mean, I had some upper back issues. But I've actually been able to do a deadlift run with no problems at all. That's about just keeping out of osteopath therapy sessions. That's that keeps me healthy. I'm very prone to popping ribs out of place to pull in. I don't know why. Amph gets it as well. So osteo sorts that out. I haven't had the osteo throughout lockdown. I've had one session, like a backdoor session, but that's it. Apart from that, I'm pretty good. I'm actually pretty good. I'm surviving. I do come out of sessions with little niggles, but you know, I'm so used to it. Like my hamstring, I came out the other day and my hamstring, I had some bruising down the back of it, down the back of the knee. which was probably pop fibers.
I think it's almost like a given when you sort of progress. When you're at the loads that you're at, it's going to be hard not to, really, and especially when you're going at the sets that you are. Like, it is I'm not saying everyone should be popping fibers or pulling muscles, but because they need to be at the loads, you know, like Jordan talks about it a lot. Like, he says he does it nearly every other session.
I see it more in bigger guys than I do smaller guys, even if the smaller guys are as strong.
Well, there's more potential for injury because you've got more muscle mass, you know, and obviously your tendons and your joints can't keep up with that higher level of mass in comparison to the actual muscle fiber itself. It's like a friend of mine's dad, who's quite knowledgeable on a lot of things, was having quite a lot of knee pain as well. He's 54 and he's been supplemented with collagen for quite a while in like super physiological dosages of like fucking collagen, so like tripling the amount that you're supposed to take. And he said a lot of his pain has just disappeared in the last like 4 to 5 months. And he's not changed his training or anything, so he's been like super loaded with collagen. So I don't know if that's something you'd want to look into, because
I'm pretty on top of all my I do take a lot of stuff in my joints. The thing for me that was missing actually out of the join-in product that I asked Jordan to put in, and he totally agreed, was Cissus. The original join-in product didn't have Cissus in it. For me, that makes a huge difference. So I'll actually add on top of what he's got in that product. For me, like, you can use all your like anti-inflammatories like curcumin. You can use your collagen. What else have we got? General products. Usually hyaluronic acid, stuff like that. You can use all of those, but they only do so much. But then I added the Cissus on top of the join-in product when it didn't have it in it already. What a difference. Huge.
Do you want to give the listeners a quick rundown of the kind of things you're taking for like joint care and health and stuff like that?
So at the moment, for joint care, I just use the join-in product. I use a scoop AM and PM. Each scoop has an added probably about 2,000 milligrams of Cissus powder. Always use the powders, it's cheaper.
Yep.
And you're not dealing with the gelatin capsules either. I think they can mess up digestion quite a bit. So that's joints. I'll use curcumin as well. Obviously BCM 66. No, BCM, it's not 66, is it? It's just BCM, isn't it? Patented. It's not got a number after it.
I'm not familiar with the product, so this is news.
Yeah, that's what I would use for joints. I've started using the Vital Support Jordan brought out because the panel is just amazing. I don't know if people quite understand what they're getting with that product, because you've got products in there that are 40 quid a pop, especially the IP6. I'm someone who has dealt with high hematocrit before, and the IP6 will bring it down without me having to bloodlet. So that's a savior in itself. Then you got I use the Love Heart because of the citrus bergamot in it. Citrus bergamot, excellent for HDL, LDL. Then I'll actually couple that as well with the Strom Support Max, because you've got overlaps of supplements, but the what's it called? The Love Heart has 500 milligrams of citrus bergamot, and the Strom product has 500 milligrams as well. And generally, if you're really pushing things, 1,000 milligrams AM and PM would be really great. So that'll bring up your HDL. Sorry. Then you've obviously got crossover products. So Vital Support, you've got your Tadka in there, and the Strom products, you've got Tadka in there. So you're probably getting about 1,000, 2,000 milligrams a day of using both products. That's how I've just gone about it now. I'm using products that have like all-encompassing panel, and it has crossovers, so I'm getting double dosages.
I think that's one thing that you are noticeably on your like spot on with. Like, your sort of healthcare is like second to none. You seem to be spot on with it all the time, and it's really good to see that you document it really well as well. So you don't because there are some people that probably use a fair bit of it, but don't put the information out there that they do. you're constantly sharing what you do and sort of showing to people that you need to be taking care of it. And quite often you also make the point that if you're spending all this money on certain things and you're disregarding your healthcare, like, what are you doing? So I think you're putting across a really good message in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. And something I want to make clear to people as well, that if you're spending all your money on gear and you're neglecting your health, you're not going to grow anyway, because if your health is shit and your internals are shit, nothing is going to process the way it should. One thing I've put down, I had a massive surge of progress about a year and a half ago, 2 years before I had this latest one, because my liver enzymes are always out of whack, always. I mean, partly this is due to training, but a lot of guys have their head in the sand and they will put it down to training, whether it is or not. They'll just say, oh, it's down to training. Now, with bigger guys, your creatinine's always going to be out. I can guarantee it. But if your liver enzymes are always chronically out, I'd look into it. Try and get your liver healthy. So I use Tudka now all year round, NAC. I use, what else do I use? I use choline bitartrate and inositol. Use that in a shake in the morning. I really mega dose that. Then my liver enzymes, after about 8 months, were great. Absolutely great. And then I started growing, because the liver is responsible for so many enzymatic processes in the body that everything just runs so much more efficiently, including your digestion.
Yeah.
So
we did touch on a lot on digestion with Kevin in the last episode as well, which was very insightful for me, because I have actual chronic, like a disability. It's classed as a disability when it comes to digestion. I've got colitis, so it's ulcerative colitis. Yep. So do I have to take medication for that? So like I've added in like a greens product that's got added fungi in as well, and keeping the microbiome healthy has, over the last 3 months since I've come out of hospital, it's been fucking improved a hell of a lot. So I don't know like the ins and outs of what the fuck's going on. All I know is that these certain things synergistically with the medication that I'm on have worked. So
I bet you've seen improvements in your physique as well.
Yep. I've been mini cutting anyway, because composition was all over the place, basically, because my health just went to shit. I went extremely anemic. So pretty much I was in hospital about, I think it was 4 months ago now. So obviously when I came out for the first 6 weeks, composition wasn't really important to me. I was just trying to get healthy again and being able to, cross the landing without fucking feeling like I'm going to pass out on the floor, because my fucking iron levels were so low. So yeah, but since I've been mini cutting, I'm down to 187 pound now, and it's the best I've ever looked, with or without a gym anyway. And it's because my health is in order, like you just said. So
wow, yeah, just shows. Absolutely.
It's like you can bombard your body with all kinds of performance supplements, and if you're enhanced, bombard it with that. But if the actual fucking system's not working itself, it's not going to work. So
it's similar to the whole calories in versus calories out debate. If you're not healthy internally, that can have a massive effect on how you. Ultimately, it does come down to that, but the in and outs can be skewed if there are things off internally. So how you're how you're producing energy within the cells, all things like that. If liver plays a massive role in that, mitochondria in the cells, if all these things are off, because you see it all the time with people that are on mega low calories and they should be dropping weight, but they're not. And it's often because their health is absolutely shit. So I think a lot does come down to your internal health.
This is what annoys me as well. When I have a client and something's not working and they swear to me that they're adhering, when, okay, I've got to believe if they say they're adhering, I can't tell them you're a liar. I will say to them, okay, let's get some bloods done. Let's see what's going on. And they won't do it. They won't do it. They say they're spending money, yet they're all up for spending £50 on a vial of Primo.
Or to continue to pay you when you're having a shot in the dark, basically, because you don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
So, it's like some people, they don't want to know if there's something wrong. They'd rather go on and carry on thinking that everything's fucking lapsy-daisy when, you know, when you have to look at yourself and objectively and be like, no, something's not right here. Let me listen to Dan in this case and fucking get on with it. So, and sometimes it does take that ass to do it as well.
I look forward to getting blood work, because if there's something off, I'm like, oh, great. This is why I'm not growing as fast as I hit a plateau. I'm thinking now, okay, so that's the reason. Let's get this sorted out and we can start growing again.
Yeah.
You know, you get to pinpoint things that you could improve in your health, then all of a sudden you start growing again. And then blood work aside, this year I took it upon myself to once a year, maybe twice if I do it at the end of the year, get organ scans. Get your heart checked, liver, kidneys, spleen. Just make sure everything's regular size, no inflammations. I just think that's a really great thing to do, because blood work doesn't give you the full picture.
You get that done privately, or is that through GP?
No. So basically what I'll do, I'll get my own blood work, and if something is out, I will take it to my GP, show them, and they go, okay, so let's get it scanned. Let's see what's going on.
You must have quite a good GP then, do you? Because I've had people shun me for, obviously not organ scan requests, but stuff like getting my bloods done, I get shunned with low. As soon as you mention like bodybuilding, quite often they don't want to know. But
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't get my bloods done through the NHS. I don't want to trouble them. It's not the NHS's fault that I'm doing this to my own body.
Yeah.
I see it as the same thing as, so my mum used to be a nurse, which she still kind of is, but she used to be on the wards on a Friday night, and some arseholes used to come in off their face, coked up, drunk and disorderly, and they've cut themselves. That's not fair. That's not fair in NHS. You did that yourself. There are children out there with fucking cancers and everything like that, when the attention and the spending and the funding should be going on them, not people that are self-inducing the harm they're causing to their body. That is not fair. So when it comes to myself, I'm a steroid user. I'm doing that to my own body. I take it out of my own wallet to get my bloods checked. That's, you know, but I can't, unless I get go private, I can't get my organs scanned.
No.
So that's the one thing I will do.
And that would be in the thousands as well. You get that done.
Yeah. I assume it would be, yeah. But you know, so we talked about the training, the food. Obviously, since my show, we went up in weight, and food's been, you know, just progressively increased. Jordan has really no chill with food. He's not afraid to up it, like really up it. And he's literally trained my body just to be a machine with food. Food's pretty high right now. I'm getting it down easy, actually. Since I've been on a cruise, my digestion is much better and my appetite's great. Food's easy right now. It's about 6,000. Are
you still suffering with the hiccups?
Not for a few weeks. Not for a few weeks. That's probably an acid reflux issue that was caused by probably something I was using. I haven't had it yet since I've been on the cruise, so if I get it again,
you can sort of pinpoint.
I will get bloods done. I'm getting bloods done soon anyway. Yeah. But yeah, we went on a cruise. So basically, post show, I went on a cruise. After a show, you don't need to be on drugs. Your body will be so responsive to food. You're going to have a rebound for about 8 weeks. Then that rebound wears out. Now introduce the drugs again, and now you've got another rebound. So that's what happened to me. Past Christmas, I was about 250 heaviest. Then we looked at the show calendar, because we put on a lot of tissue in that time. Thought, let's see what this looks like. We need to tidy up anyway. Kind of treat it like a mini cut, to be honest. And got to about 6 weeks out of my qualifier for the Worlds, and the shows were cancelled, obviously, and that would have put me 9 weeks out. I was decent. I was probably about, including if I like recomp drugs and stuff like that, I was probably about 10 to 15 pounds away, because I would have recomp hard and the stuff we would have used. I was really happy to look, to be honest. I was 235. We didn't weigh myself at all during that mini cut. We went purely by the visual, just learning from the last prep. that it became a mind fuck for me, looking at my weight and, you know, me over-analysing and whatnot. So we decided just go by the visual. And it worked. It worked a treat. We didn't over-diet me at all. I got it off and I didn't lose any muscle. I was probably about 15 pounds away, or 10 pounds away. I would have got that off easy, plus the recomp. And I probably would have been on stage about 225. And I was on stage at London at 193. So that showed the progress. I started prep, fat as fuck for that London prep, 229.
Okay.
So that shows the leaps we made. And we dieted for another 2 weeks from there, just to get a little bit more off, be more responsive. And when we added food, it started coming up. My weight really shot up straight away. And one thing we did that I wouldn't usually recommend, but we were going to eat this out. We're going to see how much tissue we could put on. We stayed on cycle for the rebound. Now, I said previously that you don't need that, but we didn't get it all off. If I got it all off, then I wouldn't have needed to. I'm not saying I needed to in this case, but we really wanted to maximize this growth period, and it worked. It worked a treat. And I won't bullshit, like, when you're progressively getting bigger, part of the progression, you are going to use more drugs. Yeah. Especially if you're like me and you're already doing everything perfectly. That is just part of it. You know, we won't go into dosages and stuff like that. And there's something I definitely wouldn't usually recommend. Either we use trend for a bit in an off-season setting, which seems like a bit of a waste. But again, this was a bit of an experiment. I'm going to see how much tissue we could lay down, and it worked. Don't stand it too long. Just let's see what we can get out of it. I already had it in for a week because we thought we were competing. Let's just stay on it and ride it out. And it worked a treat. I'm not going to lie, but it wasn't necessary.
How tall are you, Dan?
I'm 5'10" on a very good day.
Same as me then. Fuck.
Then my heaviest morning weight was very watery. There's a picture of me actually on my Instagram. You see my legs have no lines in them. They're watery as fuck. I woke up heaviest that week. I think it's like 266. I was like, yeah, waterlogged. Imagine someone tying a rope around the base of your spine and tightening it as tight as possible, trying to walk around. I couldn't do anything. There was a stint where I couldn't stiff leg. I couldn't reach the bar. I was too tight. And I was having a go at myself, like, what's going on? I just literally couldn't get down to the bar. And that was it, really. We just pulled back. Not diet, I didn't take food away. I just thought, we may as well go into a cruise now.
Is that like 3 weeks ago?
Huh?
Is that like 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Probably like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
What's the plans going forward then?
So, cruise now. Just get body healthy. I'm going to run blood soon. I'll probably do bloods in a couple of weeks, actually. I want to see, whilst everything's still out, just see what the drugs I took, what they do. What they knock out, so I know how to adapt my supplementation for when I'm on cycle. Then continue growing, really. I have no need to do a mini cut as such. I'll use the first probably 4 or 5 weeks. This is me guessing Jordan's process because I've been with him now nearly 4 years. I kind of get it.
You've pretty much been with him from day dot then? Yeah. 4 or 5 weeks probably, ride out on the same calories, just recomp, get a lot tighter. Because I was actually tighter at like 265 than I am now. I'm about 250, 258, 259. So that just shows what you do step back as such. But recomp, then push on. I said to Jordan, the goal, or we agreed, was 280 morning scale before I ever think of dieting down for a comp. Whether we do this in one go big hit, I doubt it. Depends how well I grow. Might take a few steps forward, 1 step back, then keep going. I think that's very achievable. In fact, I think I'll probably, when I get back on cycle, I'll do that straight away. I think we're looking more like 290, 300, to be honest.
So do you foresee yourself competing next year then?
No, unless I mini cut and everything's just too easy, and I'm 6 weeks away and everything looks okay. Maybe we just ride out the last 6 weeks and get on stage.
As in next year. So 21.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, not really. I have no need to. I mean, I won't get on stage until I think I'm competitive.
That would just be rushing, like purely just to get on stage. You know.
Yeah.
You're not in it for that game, so.
No, but I do see the benefits of competing for a rebound. That's the only reason I would do it, because I mean, look what happened earlier on in the year. So I would compete for the rebound, maybe, but that's only if everything just comes way too easy. My performance isn't suffering in the gym. We get within 5 weeks touching distance of a show. Let's finish this off. Let's just get on stage, see what happens. It's only 5 weeks. I mean, what could happen? What could happen in that time? All of a sudden, you tell me it's now we're in prep. Now and then my head will go loopy. Very, very true.
What about a quick recap on yourself, Jack?
So obviously, Dan, you've had access to your gym over lockdown. So I think that's done you a world of good, I think, just having that consistency of getting in there with Ant. I haven't been as consistent with my facilities, but the past week, another one of the gyms I had access to got sort of shut down, but not. They just had a bit of a scare. They had a letter through the door. So that got shut, but potentially they're operating on different times now. Which is why I'm training early now. But so I was talking to Joe earlier, Dan, and I said I'll save it for the podcast. But I had a bit of a nightmare yesterday. So got up early, had my food, drove to the gym. It's a decent trek to the gym as well. And because of the scare, they've changed the locks. And they hadn't texted me changed the code. So I got there 5 o'clock in the morning without the code. So I was there trying to pick the lock, listening to see if I could get the code. It was a wasted trip and I couldn't train. So I ended up training back home. But everything's sorted now. I know you've got the green light for the 25th, but we're probably going to be quite a bit longer than that. So
you just crossed the border.
Yeah, but how many gyms are going to be operating on sort of anyone can go there? I don't think there are many gyms that are going to let new members.
I don't think I'm pretty sure Ultimates are not letting non-members in. So you can't have a day pass. So even if you do want to train, I think you have to buy like a month's membership.
But I don't even know if they'll be letting that happen, because I know with my the gym I train at in Pontypridd, they've made like an elite members group, and they've selected a certain number of people. It's like 500 people, and they're the only people that so even previous members haven't got memberships there now.
If it were me, I would, if that's the case, a month membership, I would go find a apartment. I'd get a month's rent on an apartment and pay for a month for a membership.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. But I don't see that many gyms will be letting people just get unless you've been a member there previously. I don't think many gyms will be letting new members in.
Yeah,
because they're on limited capacities and stuff like that. So. But at the moment, I've got more than enough. I've been fortunate, more fortunate than most. I still have plenty of kit at home, but Dan, it's not the same, really, is it? So I'm just very keen for them all, as is everyone, for somewhat normality to start creeping back in. But how long that's going to be, we don't really know. So
I don't know how people got by with bands and all of that. And it even made me laugh that these people were saying, "Oh, you can maintain." No, I fucking couldn't. You have a laugh. I couldn't even maintain my leg size.
Band, yeah.
I couldn't even maintain my leg size with just a squat rack and I had the old leg press, leg extension, leg curl. I couldn't even get the same leg size I had before. I was on cycle, had all the food, yet my legs still wouldn't grow. Now, all of a sudden, last few weeks, off cycle, I've got a Cybex leg press, a hack squat, a seated ham curl, and obviously I've got the squat rack and Smith as well. But I'm using those, and my legs are blown up.
Yeah. So unless you're on your literally on like 2 days away from death, you know, like myself, you won't rebound or even maintain anything. So I've been, in a way, fortunate enough to be able to sort of grow a little bit, even though I'm in a deficit, because I was like 2 days from going in the ground. So you know.
When we talk about
you were the epitome of D-trains.
Yeah, of course. What's that?
I was about to say, when we say we're getting a rebound from a diet or whatever, you're actually getting like the rebound of a lifetime.
Oh, I understand what you mean. I know what you mean.
You're getting a rebound from nearly dying. That's a different scenario.
I feel fantastic. That's all I can say. So
yeah.
Well, it's only up from there, really, isn't it? So
yeah, well, it can't get any fucking worse. Do you want to get into some questions?
Do you want to go on to the questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Happy days. I'm happy to. First of all, I'll let either of you guys go first.
Dan, did you get many? These days,
did.
My question boxes are awful.
I did. I got, so basically, from the people who really don't know me, just follow me on Instagram, I got serious questions. And the people who really do know me sent me the ridiculous questions. So it depends what you want.
All of them. I've got 9. Most of them are just fucking stupid, which is good. So
yeah, cool. I'll go for a few serious ones because I suppose they need doing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so this is a really good one. Do you find socializing, like nightlife, hard as a bodybuilder? So the fact they put nightlife in there, I'm just assuming going out on a Friday, Saturday night or whatever with your mates, and you know that typical thing, not just socializing. Do you find that difficult?
Yeah, I've been out once. That was it.
In your
for
life?
Halloween last year, yeah. In terms of going outside, yeah, on the night, it doesn't interest me. But I'll go out with a few friends, but I won't be going to the club or anything like that. Yeah. So, and it's not because of, you know, like the bigger goal or anything like that. I just don't like it. So,
it's not my idea of fun.
Exactly.
Done it before, and I got bloody bored.
Yeah, I used to purely do it to try and like satisfy my mates and try and like to try and be like a good friend, but I didn't enjoy it.
I'm way past that. Like, if you're not on my wavelengths, just fuck off. I'm not bothered. So.
Yeah, like I couldn't tell you the last time I went out in the evening, like as in the town in the evening. It'll be in excess of like 5-6 years.
Okay.
Easily.
Wow. Yeah.
It doesn't. I personally feel that it takes away, because you know you're not going to have a meal in that time, are you? And you're going to be.
You say that. Before we went into the club, there was a Sainsbury's right next to the club in the middle of the town. I was like, right, let me go grab some ready to fucking eat chicken. And I was just like, let me get this down me. I was in there for about 5 hours and came out at 5 in the morning. I was fucking starving, and there's a 24-hour one. So I literally waited outside for about an hour till it opened. And I was like, I'm fucking hungry. Let's go.
Right. I was the guy in sixth form that if there was a house party, I was in the kitchen cooking.
Yeah, man.
Brilliant.
When I was in uni, I lived with 8 other lads that were wild, and I would wake up on a Thursday, because obviously Wednesday's a big sort of student night. I'd wake up on a Thursday, go into the kitchen to cook my meal, and you'd have to walk. It was quite like an open plan house, and I'd have to walk through the living room. I'd turn the lights on, and you know, if you like were in like a bat cave and you turn the lights on, and it was like that. There'd be like 20 people in the living room, and they'd all just be, "Hi, Jack boy, I just they didn't care though. They were awesome for it. I'd just be cooking away, and they'd just be in another world in the living room.
Were both of you guys like, whenever you do anything, were you always like the designated like leader of the group who looks after everyone as well?
I suppose in uni I didn't actually go out once,
Okay.
so I never got that opportunity because I was deep into my bodybuilding at that time. I'm not gonna lie, I was. I mean, sixth form, I just tried it. I tried going out, didn't work for me. I gave up on it then and there. Just, it wasn't my idea of fun, getting home late and, you know, not getting enough sleep and being aggy in the morning, hungover. Did it once, wasn't cool.
And it's fun.
Oh yeah, and it's expensive. Like
Yeah.
I had this conversation with someone on Instagram. Go, oh, you're so lucky to have your gym. Well, I've been collecting all that equipment for like 10 years plus. While you lot were spending money getting pissed on the weekend, I was not doing that, was I? Clearly, I had luck on my side. Luck.
Don't get into that. We've had enough of that stuff recently. So it is very true, though.
So,
You know, you put the effort in.
In terms of the question, we are potentially the worst three you could ask, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
If
Well,
all three of us went out on the lash, nothing would happen. We'd probably end up in fucking Weatherspoon somewhere having a cheap meal or something.
Yeah. All right. Well, socializing. How do you do socializing?
It depends on who it is. Like, I like being outdoors a lot, so I've been making more of an effort since everything's opened, because I was at a point a bit selfish terms with everyone. So like last week we went like mini golf outside. They had drinks. I didn't have anything. I'm happy doing like mini golf, you know, go-karting, that sort of thing. Because I'm not as big as you, Dan. I can't actually fit in the go-kart at the minute. So,
I haven't tried go-karting since I put on this new size, but I can tell you it does hold you back. When I last did it, but that's literally what you just said. That's my idea of fun, like going out and doing day trips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, relationships. You're in a relationship, Joe. You've been strong. So, I mean, we spoke about that. About you, Jack? I don't actually know.
No. Basically, as soon as I got serious about bodybuilding, it sort of went downhill. There have been like short little stints, but like for the past sort of year, 2 years, I've been so busy. You know, for the past year, I get up at like 4 o'clock and I get home at 9 every day. When would the time have been that I was going to meet a girl, unless it was in the gym, you know?
Yeah.
So, like hopefully that like I will up my game a little bit, but I think I obsess over the bodybuilding quite a bit. So it's always in my mind. So other things a lot of the time I don't even think about it.
Look, I was, and I still am, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still like that. But to me, I've now come to the conclusion that having someone else there is actually going to help my bodybuilding, as long as it's the right person. This person is got to be there to not know me as the bodybuilder, but as Dan, you know? It's, this person has to obviously understand the lifestyle, you know, give me a nudge, you're meant to fucking eat. Stuff like that, great. You're going to the gym, great, I'll leave you alone. Fantastic. And she gets it. But this person has to also remind me that I'm not just a bodybuilder. And taking that stress out of my head, that I'm one of these that constantly thinking about it, thinking of progress and thinking about things I could be doing, and no, just switch off. It will lower your cortisol if you really want something sciencey to back it up or anything like that. But I need someone to switch my fucking head off. I've been seeing someone recently, not a relationship yet, or if it ever will be, but she's cool. And she's coached, but don't talk about bodybuilding. No. She really takes my mind off it. And, you know, she takes the piss out of me a bit. She fucking ruins me, to be honest. But it's so cool just to be a normal guy again. And when I'm not training, just totally forget about that. I'm a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you what that's done for my psyche, because when I get in the gym, I've got everything to let loose. Everything. And I don't let it leave the gym. It's for the gym and that's it. You've seen videos of me on Instagram. I look back at them, I think, what a fucking dickhead. What a dickhead. I don't know how it happens. I mean, Amph is the only one who sees it. But all of that is saved up for the gym. And I don't take that home with me. Because I can't. It's all let out. I've got nothing left. And having someone like that helps me just save it for the gym. One, I don't want to bring it home to anyone. But two, because I'm constantly not thinking about training and bodybuilding, when I get there, best believe I'm on. I'm absolutely on. I'm looking forward to it. And that was one thing. That was one benefit of my degree. My master's, it was so stressful. It was like when it was time to train, I was like, oh, thank fuck for that. Do you know?
Like it's what you mentioned then. I was thinking about it right at the start when you were talking about that. If you've got like a limited amount of sort of mental energy, if you're always thinking about bodybuilding, you're expending that energy all day. Whereas what you've said now, if you've got that period when you're at home where you're not thinking about it at all, you've got all that energy then to like you said, let loose when you're training. So I can certainly see that. Like, for example, I went down the beach the other day with a few of the mates, and I didn't think about it at all. I was just back, because I don't see them an awful lot because they live away, but we still talk exactly the same as if we were sort of 15, still have the same jokes as when we were 15. And I came home and I felt so refreshed after it. Hadn't thought about bodybuilding once. So there certainly is truth in that. And I think it's certainly something that I wish I could sort of do a bit more often, I think.
Yeah, something this year that I've done also throughout the year, the ability to switch off is so important.
And that's coming from someone that is, captain of Team Hardcore, Dan Bastick. So
I don't know why everyone keeps from hardcore. Fair enough. Get in the gym with me. Get in the gym to me. I'll strap you to a hack squat. I'll fuck you up. But outside the gym, I am the least hardcore person you've ever seen. My meals look gourmet. I don't eat out of Tupperwares. If I do, I've got glass Tupperwares. I'm the least hardcore person going, but I don't know why people think this of me. This one was my particular favourite.
Right.
Tiger Balm's lube. Right, Tiger Balm as lube or Orbus oil up the bum.
I froze on the key bit then.
Oh, fucking hell, Jack.
Oh.
So I got Tiger Balm as lube or
Orbus oil at the bum.
Orbus oil up the bum.
Okay, that's one vote.
Tiger Balm, so we can both go through the pain together.
Should I just leave this chat and let you two get it on? No, I'd go Orbus as well. Think about it. Like Tiger Balm on your boy. You got to lube yourself up. So obviously the goal is probably to achieve an orgasm. I don't think that's possible with Tiger Balm. Somewhat. Or there's a very, very poor girl who's going to suffer along with you.
She loves me. It's all right.
I hope she does.
Following on with a weird one. Wear one shoe or size 19 shoes for the rest of your life.
Ooh.
So clown shoes or one shoe.
One shoe is going to cause a lot of complications.
Yeah, especially with your hips.
If I could do the laces up tight enough and they're not going to fall off every time, I would go with the clown shoes.
Yeah, clowns.
Yeah.
It'd be a fashion statement as well. I think I agree with you.
You'd also have a massive old boy.
That would be like stuffing a pair of socks down your trousers, but for your feet.
Could you deadlift in clown shoes?
I'll find a way.
Use the end of them as a resistance off the floor.
Can you imagine wearing a pair of Vibrams, size 19?
Yeah.
Your toes would be like that.
It'd be like going in fucking sea backwards with flippers on.
Yeah, you'd have like sausage toes.
So this one, compounds when blasting and cruising. So I'll just cover this real quick. Joe, are you natural or are you enhanced?
Yeah, I'm natural.
Okay, so I'll cover this real quick then. So I'll go just from my personal use. When cruising, I always just cruise on testosterone. I don't feel that I'm at a level to add anything else into the mix when I'm supposed to be putting my health values back into healthy reference ranges. So just testosterone. The dosage, anything from TRT to 250 milligrams is great, I think. I would stick with 200, 250. When blasting, person dependent. Add on top what works for you and your digestion. Something I learned of Jordan, and it's become very apparent of this year, is you can only use things that allow you to eat. Yeah. I've never felt anything like being on the wrong compounds and not being able to eat, and that holding back you being able to push up your food and therefore push up your weight and progress. So definitely base your drugs around how you feel and how it impacts your digestion. So for me personally, I am a fan of Primobolan. It doesn't really impact my bloods too bad at all. It's quite a mild steroid. And Primobolan, testosterone, and I'm a fan of MPP. I've used Deco in the past. The long ester for me is different to the short ester. I can't put my finger on it. The MPP seems to be a lot drier, and I have less health issues as a result. I mean, I don't have health issues, but it just reflects on my blood work. So I got mid-cycle blood work during my last blast before I cruised before. This was like in February, I think, and my bloods were actually the best they'd ever been. Now that's not typical. Usually something would be out, but it just shows that for me personally, it wasn't going to have a big impact at all. And this was all in sync with having organ scans as well. So yeah, that's for me personally, but use what you like. Personally, I don't like to feel like I'm on cycle because I don't want to feel juiced up. I only want to look it. Okay. Deload while on prep if progression has stalled.
I think you've got to look into why the progression has stalled. Have you dropped your calories too low potentially? So that could be a factor.
Have you ever put deload in whilst on prep?
Never put a deload in my life.
You're a leader of Team Hardcore right here.
You're just scared, but you're me without a coach. You are me without a coach. That would be me. Like, did you see the state of my eyes in my last prep? That's me.
Did you go into public? Did you go into public with those eyes?
I wore sunglasses.
Yeah.
Eye patch.
That is me pushing my body beyond what Jordan told me to do. I would not rest. I'm sure I had Rhabdol. I am sure. But yeah. So yes, as long as it's not too close to your comp.
Yeah. That'll make it massive.
Yeah, you're gonna probably stall anyway. But if you're about 11 weeks out and you're starting to stall because you've gone all the way from your off season into prep without a rest, I would take it then and there before it gets too late too. Then 5 weeks on into your show, I wouldn't expect you to progress anyway. especially if you're an enhanced guy, actually, because and natural. And natural. The only thing with enhanced guys, what I found plummeted my strength. So 5 weeks out, I was actually the strongest I'd ever been. Then 4 weeks out, I was the weakest I'd ever been. Just because manipulation of estrogen, obviously using AIs and stuff. But if you're a natural bodybuilder, I mean, you're not taking away big chunks of body fat in those last weeks off, are you really? It should be coming off pretty, because you're not manipulating. I don't know. I haven't had the experience. So Jack.
No, it's just a steady thing from there, isn't it? It's just you're losing a similar sort of percentage throughout the whole prep. You're not making the drastic changes that you would in sort of the last few weeks. If anything, quite often in a natural setting, they'd aim to be there by then, so they can sort of potentially look to go almost increase a little bit.
Yes, yeah, that's what I would have thought as well. I mean, if you looked at my progress pictures 5 weeks out, I look fat. Then 3 weeks out, I had glutes. That's kind of the difference in rate of fat loss, which I don't think is always great. It showed in my prep, but I see a lot of natural guys looking pretty much ready 5 weeks out.
And that's also going to dictate with the deload. Like, if you are in a really good position, you can afford to throw that deload in, potentially bring your calories up a little bit as well to mitigate some fatigue. And that'll allow. But once again, that's providing you're in a decent place, like body fat wise.
Yeah, I'd consider, if you're within about 7 to 6 weeks out, rather than considering a deload, I'd consider just knocking off a bit of volume, maybe, just to protect the muscle tissue. If you're not recovering, then the body's going to throw away your muscle. It's not going to bother with it.
I'm liking the sort of shift from devolumizing and more sorry, the other way around. So I'm enjoying the fact that people are looking at it from a devolumizing as opposed to reducing the load, because I don't know where it came from, because when I did my master's in S&C, we were always taught that the way that you take a deload is you reduce the volume down. It was never the fact that you would always hit that top weight, but you wouldn't do more, because that's what's going to preserve the sort of strength and muscle, is that the sort of high load. So as long as you get that one sort of stimulus in, you're okay. Because that's what in all the sort of top athletes, that's what they do when they do, not as in bodybuilding, in sort of sport. Their deloads are more focused on, they slash volume down to like 1 set per exercise. It was never a fact that they brought the loading down. So it's quite good. But from like a psychological perspective, I can definitely see that the sort of slashing of load can be beneficial then. But performance-wise, it's a lot more dictated on the volume, I think.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think bodybuilders now, it's the JP effect, isn't it? I think people are starting to realise the importance of prioritising performance for bodybuilding. People are realising that bodybuilding is a performance sport. More so than one that, because I used to have a week off. If my body's like, we've got two kind of standards of how you deal with a deload. You're either fucked or proper fucked. If you're proper fucked, it's probably best you rest because you've torn something. If you're fucked, then we do some deload sessions. We knock some volume off the head, but keep the loading the same. And I prefer that because I can't do sessions where I lower the intensity. I can't do that because when I'm in the gym, I do not associate myself with lower intensities. I don't want to interchange the two. I don't want to ever get in that habit. So I keep the intensity exactly the same, just lower the volume. And I'll probably come out of all-time PBs as well because fatigue. So, yeah, that's how I'd go about that anyway.
Cookie, muffin, donut, who wins?
So again?
Cookie, muffin, donut, who wins?
No contest. Cookie!
No.
Oh, I think that's bottom of that.
Definitely.
Mate, where have you been having your cookies?
Everywhere.
Oh, like a thick cut cookie.
No.
We've seen Juan Morel's cookies.
It's too much.
Yeah, but I don't think they count as cookies.
Yeah, it's more of a cake, isn't it?
They're all, they look good.
I'm probably going to say donut, to be fair.
Yeah, with some of the fillings you can get on those.
Yeah.
I'm not.
The Biscoff ones.
No.
Can't agree. Right. Part of me just wants to leave now. Don't agree with that.
The Cookie Monster, Dan Bastick.
I'm a little bit disappointed. As I said, when people know you, the types of questions you get. Dicks for fingers or finger for a dick?
Finger for a dick.
I said the same.
Dicks for fingers, I'll just wear gloves.
Well, you're going to walk around with one all day, every day.
I've still got my dick, though.
Yeah, but what if you got a big finger?
You'll have no feeling, though.
You aren't doing many things in life if you're walking around with todgers on your hands. You're not doing
let's think about this. There's not actually a bone in the penis, is there?
Yeah, so you can grip anything.
Just walk around with hard all day long.
Yeah, and you'd have to give it a tug, a finger.
Take a pump product.
Yeah, if you had to, I don't know, type in the iPhone code or something, you'd have to get a boner on your finger to type the code. That is just way too long.
You might end up in the Guinness World Record.
You might even have to wear a condom just in case you go too far.
Always be protected.
Always be protected. You don't want to ruin your iPhone screen.
Samsung all day.
Here we go.
Now he's really going to want to leave.
Here we go.
One protein source forever. What is it?
Going from not just a nutrient option, but the taste as well. If it's cooked right, steak. So it's got beef.
Yeah.
I love salmon. I love
good seasoned piece of fish off the grill or off the pan is fucking hard to beat.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Probably a steak as well, though. To be fair.
Yeah.
Or beef, cow, because you could get loads of different stuff. You could have like a beef stew, anything. So
very true, very true.
So many different cuts as well.
I have salmon every morning, and I decided to cook it in the active fryer because I heard it was good.
I've got an active fryer. I've not tried salmon.
It was really good in the active fryer. Goes crispy on the outside, soft in the middle, really nice.
I heard you talk about it before, and I was worried that it was going to just make the whole piece dry. So
no, it actually locks it in. It's quite good.
How long?
It's like 15 minutes if it's a thick cut.
Cool.
Yeah.
Everything seems to take about 15-20 minutes in the active fryer.
Yeah, I think it's like
everything. Yeah.
One speed.
Do you all have a fallback plan in case bodybuilding doesn't work out for you?
Great question. Yes.
It's not really the whole plan for me. I mean, like my life doesn't revolve around me doing well in bodybuilding. So that's not. But I wouldn't. I can't see myself doing anything else in terms of bodybuilding's not going well, I'll take up this. I can't see anything else really.
Yeah.
Dan, you seem to have an answer at the start.
Yeah. I'm the same, mate. I don't plan on making my money through bodybuilding. That's why I've got a master's degree in sustainability and environmental management. So that's my kind of area in academia. So I can get a job whenever I want, really. With that, it's as a first class honours. So I'm pretty, I know. I had to put that in there.
I love seeing that when it comes up, like, because I got notified that I got my PGC the other day. I could look back on all my other degrees, and when I was looking through, and when I saw first, I was like, you have a little smug, like,
yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I mean that's my fallback. To be honest, not fallback. I will be doing it, but right now I'm in the position where I can actually get by, make as much progress as I want in bodybuilding before something else has to maybe put it to side a little bit. So I'm just trying to get as far as I can before I get to that point.
For me, yes, up until a point recently. So I do some like trade work, so some labor and stuff. I do editing work, so that pays pretty well. And I'm going back to uni this year, so I'm gonna do. What was that?
What are you doing?
Strength conditioning and nutrition.
Oh, cool.
I was doing marketing before and left like halfway through the course. Just wasn't really for me, to be fair.
Where are you studying?
Birmingham.
Okay, I did my master's in Coventry.
Okay.
Yeah. I could have never done it in Birmingham. Too fucking busy.
Yeah.
Birmingham.
I live here anyway. Like I've always lived here anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm used to it. But I do like, as I said, I do like nature. So I do like, being outside, away from all the shit and the noise. To be fair.
Yeah.
We've already answered that one. Right. So we can give a quick answer or a long answer. People say stay natural and build a base a long time before using enhancements. However, most pros you look at have competed from a young age, like enhanced. So what is your advice on this?
The people that are there already, that they're talking about, the enhanced guys, obviously have the genetics behind them anyway. And I'm going to go as far to say that we can only assume you don't have the genetics before you put the gear in. So don't risk it. I would build a base every time. Yeah, I spent nearly 6 years doing that before I ever did my first actual cycle. I did a couple of things with orals, but doesn't count really.
I think that 6 years, and I think if you've trained for 6 years, you'll know by then whether you have the genetics to be like a good bodybuilder. And if that's the case, then potentially you can weigh the options up. But if it's not, then you need to look at, is it really worth it? And ultimately, it comes down to how far you want to go with it as well. Yeah. So
I only believed that I could be a decent bodybuilder about 3 months ago. I'll be honest. Be totally honest. Yeah. But I think, as you say, and I think not just to build a base, but fucking learn some intensity and learn how to train and learn movement patterns that work for your body before you start fucking around with your hormones.
And especially due to the fact that a lot of your progress at the start, if you do jump on, will be from the gear. It won't be from, so like you said, if you learn the hard training, the proper nutrition, that's only going to benefit you instead of potentially masking any issues that you have in those two with the assistants.
Yeah,
I agree.
For sure. We spoke about a all-time top 6 physiques. Have we?
I've got 6, but a lot of these. Me and Joe were speaking. Are these our favourite, or are they what we perceive the best?
Our favourite.
Okay.
With the year.
Yeah, I've done the year as well.
You can't say Victor Richards because no one bloody knows when he competed.
Victor Richards in the womb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to start, Dan?
Yeah. All right. Got a few odd ones, but it's, again, based on the physique, my idea of what I like, and you could probably imagine the types of physiques. So we're not talking Frank Zane. So Jay, 2001 Olympia.
Yeah.
Ronnie, 2001 Arnold.
Okay.
Because he almost lost that Olympia because he peaked so well for that Arnold that year. He couldn't come back from it.
Yeah.
He was so good. He was nails. And he still had the pretty waist and huge. Dorian, 93.
I knew that was going to be on the list.
Tom Prince, 96 nationals.
I knew that was going to be in there. We talked about that a few weeks ago, didn't we? It's fucking unreal.
Yeah. Amazing. If anyone wants to look that up on YouTube, it's a posing routine, 1996, Tom Prince nationals. Then Rowley, 2018 Olympia, where he came third. He came third.
Yeah, that was an awesome look. He could have, like, people were saying he could have won that one.
Yeah.
Was it when he got the People's Champ? Wasn't it that? Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was just nutty, that look. He consumed so much space on that stage.
Yeah.
Freak. And then last one, Mike Francois, 96 Arnold.
Okay.
Partly because it was his hometown as well, Ohio, Columbus.
I don't think there's no better way to win, really. How cool would that be as well?
On his birthday as well.
Mad, isn't it?
So
stars aligned for him that day. So I actually spoke to Mike Francois not long ago over Instagram, because obviously he retired because he had like seriously bad colitis. So I actually messaged him saying, I've got this disease that you suffered from. Would you actually recommend continuing to pursue the goal? And he was like, yes, the only reason I stopped was because of certain aspects as well as the colitis. He didn't want a lot of things building up over a long period of time and him pretty much ending down in the grave, basically. So
he had complications, obviously.
Yeah, so a load of things all together. So plus a lot of these, like, not surgeries, but the procedures back then when he was diagnosed weren't like the ones that we have now, weren't around. So it's just one of them things, isn't it?
Didn't John Meadows have colitis?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. It was a strangulation of one of the veins to the colon, I think. Yeah. It was definitely to do with the colon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, for myself, Phil. I love Phil Heath. So he could have featured numerous times in my list, but I think probably my favourite of his was 2013 Olympia.
Oh, thank you. Oh, so I was having this argument with Cuba.
That makes three of us, yeah.
I think that's his best.
Yeah, I was having this argument with Cuba. He said no, 2011. I thought 2013 was 2011 with more size.
I put the 13 one down as one of my favourite looks, but I put it second to the 13. So 11, he's a lot smaller than he is. Yeah. He's probably more pleasing in 2011. Like, his conditioning's better, but I think the only reason why his conditioning looks better is because he's smaller. Like, the mass he has in 13, because I've also got the Olympia in 16 as well, because that he hadn't completely blown, because obviously.
Is that the one when he had the purple posing trunks?
Yeah. 16, he looked class as well. I got Kai Green, Arnold, Australia, 2016.
Very good.
He won that one and he looked insane. I think he might have come really close to Heath that year as well.
He didn't do Arnold that year. That was the last competition he did, because the last competition.
He did the Arnold and didn't do the Olympia.
Yeah. I remember that though, because he had the posing routine that year, didn't he? The Arnold.
The
he had a really good posing routine.
Diana one, dancing. Is it that one? The
No, that was an early one. He did like some breakdancing and stuff, but he won the posing round, and that's why they said he beat Cedric.
Yeah. I think he beat him anyway, but
oh yeah,
I think he smashed him really. I got J 2006. Okay. So like the quad stomp one, that famous image of when he did the quad stomp.
Oh, was that 09?
That's 2009.
Was it 9? Or did you do 6 as well?
No, 2009. 2006 was his first O win.
Yeah. I did in 6, but then Ronnie 2003.
Yeah, big.
Like I think that was when he had the back shot. It's quite often in black and white when he's like sort of coming back on his lats. I think that was 2003. That was probably one of my favorite Ronnies as well. But I think a lot with this, those I put those down as my best physiques. There are quite a lot of bodybuilders that are my favorite but they still wouldn't sort of potentially not even place top 5 and 0, you know. So there's quite a few of those. But what about you, Joe?
So I actually put like a few for both. So some of my personal favorites and some of the ones that I think are like the most impressive. So we've got Gary Strydom, the first WBF show. He was fucking peeled for that show. From the front, I think he was fantastic.
I haven't seen him in that show.
It was really good. It was the first, you know, when the WWE kind of did their spin-off bodybuilding thread. It was for that.
Vince McMahon made loads of athletes come away from the IFBB.
Yeah. Marcus Rawl, Night of Champions.
Do you know what year?
2001. Yeah.
I think so.
The one with when you see the little clip of the posing routine, he's standing next to everybody. It just makes everyone look fucking shit. Bob Harris every year, just because I think his presentation was fantastic. Ronnie 99, Jay 2009, and Dorian 96.
96.
Yeah.
I also had an honourable mention of NASA in 97. So when he nearly beat Dorian.
It depends on the way you look at that show, because pose for pose, Dorian still wins. But if you're just looking at them, NASA wins. In my opinion.
I think he had too many body parts torn to shit.
It depends, because obviously, you know, he wins side tricep. He loses the front double to everybody all day, every show, anyway. Yeah. From the back, he beats everybody. What else? Side chest is arguable.
But it's not.
I wasn't a judge back then, so.
But if we think of bodybuilding isn't a body part show.
But that's the way the shows were judged up until that year.
Yeah. No, I guess it's part of the times, I guess. But, I mean, if body parts, if bodybuilding shows were judged that way, then Roden would have never won. You describe Roden like, okay, he hasn't got the best arms, he hasn't got the best chest, he hasn't got the best back, he's got good legs. You don't describe him Mr. Olympia. It's when you step back and look at the whole physique and how it flows. That's why I think NASA should have won that show. But I didn't think 96 was all that good of a look for Dorian.
Well, for Dorian, I really like the 96 look.
It just looked like it was falling apart a little bit.
It's like in 93, like he's fucking unbelievable. And he's the most complete that he ever was, because obviously there was nothing torn or anything.
Yeah.
But I think when he turned around in 96 is when he made super fucking leaps and bounds when he turned to the back, especially in like the hamstring area and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but it's whatever floats your boat, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I've got 2 more questions, and then we can wrap up if you're happy to.
Cool.
Bear with. So, the obvious one. Would you rather get sucked off by a guy or pegged by the missus?
Who asked that? You dirty
I have no
bastard.
idea. I know. Filthy fuckers.
Right, I had
Probably one of your followers.
again. I've had an argument about this, and I've consulted Mr. Amph about it. Me and Amph came to the same conclusion. Now, decipher the question. Say it again.
Right. Would you rather get sucked off by a guy or pegged by the missus?
Yes, by the missus. Now, this is an issue. Right. So, yes, I would rather get pegged by the missus, because if you're getting sucked off by the guy, you're getting pleasure from a man. And personally, that's not going to bring me pleasure. I'm not saying getting pegged by the missus is going to bring me pleasure, but either way, something that's going to cause arousal, and I know what I'd rather cause me arousal.
Can blindfolds be involved or not?
You're still getting sucked off by a guy, mate.
It's still gay. Dan, you literally just, that is exactly my thought process, what you said.
Yeah, the only problem is, if I was to get pegged by like a woman I'm with, I wouldn't want her to feel like she's got any more like dominance over me than she probably already has.
If it was to happen,
you can make up for it afterwards. It's fine.
Yeah, you can do a nice cup of tea and a digestive biscuit.
It's like, this is payback, you bastard.
Cyanide in the tea. I don't know. I think if I was to get fucked in the arse by a woman, it'd probably be by a woman I didn't know, so I wouldn't have to look her in the eyes again.
Yeah, but then you've been through so much. It is hard, isn't it? But that was the question by your woman.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I don't want my dick in another dude's mouth, to be fair.
Yeah, I'd rather get pegged by your woman, because, yeah, just I can't. And it would be a longer process as well, because if you're getting sucked off by a guy, you're sucked off, so you're finishing. And I'm getting finished by a guy. I don't like that idea.
Mm.
You're going into this too much.
Yeah.
I don't think it's serious, because I posed this to a girl, and she didn't get it.
But you did.
I did. I definitely did get it, apparently.
Right. I'd say for the second to final question. So, what is the worst training / food / drug experience you have ever had? I don't know if they're talking psychedelic drugs or PEDs. So it's up to you.
That's a big question.
I've got nothing really like funny or stuff I want to say on this podcast. I mean, I've had some terrible, like, this isn't funny, but I've had some terrible, like, digestive stuff that food has turned on me, and I've nearly called A&E, but I didn't have enough strength to call A&E because it really fucked me up, like sharp stabbing pains in my stomach and stuff, and just like vomiting. I don't know if it was food poisoning or what, but that night was whatever that was, it tore me a new arsehole.
My last question. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I mean, that's all I got really.
Yeah.
That was an awful experience. Drug experiences. I'm trying to think. I remember the first time I smoked weed. It was like being stuck in a room. Like everyone was around me, but I couldn't communicate to them. They were there, but I couldn't talk. It's a little bit scary. Don't know what that was.
The first time I did an edible, this was like just before I went into hospital, so I didn't know I had a problem. I ate it, but 10 minutes later, I just collapsed on the floor in the kitchen. I was just gone. I don't remember a fucking thing. So that was pretty scary. Waking up like 4 hours afterwards, thinking, "What the fuck?" So, yeah.
That's been bad.
What about you, Jack?
Well, I can't really think of any off the top of my head. This isn't like too crazy, but I had food poisoning on prep before, and I was up all night, back and forth to the toilet, dehydrated, and I had cardio in the morning, and there was no way I wasn't doing it. So I was on the Stairmaster, worried about whether every step was going to be my last, and like planning my route back to the toilet to see how quickly I could get there without following through on the Stairmaster. So that was one of the worst experiences I've had. So
does it not go through your head that you threw up a load of food the night before and you're already
the fact that I thought I was going to follow through on the Stairmaster, so I was tensing my glutes the whole time.
Okay, we've got an experience I had actually last week. Then we're being open about that, right? So where my gym is, it's like across a field, and sometimes I drive there, other times I don't. I drove there because I was dropping off equipment to it in the back of like a Vito van. So whatever, I was in the gym and I did need a poo, but I thought I can hold it in.
No.
And I can do my mobility. I only had 10 minutes of mobility to do in the gym. I got it done. I felt great. And I'm like, oh no, I need to go. So I had the Vito there, so I had to drive the Vito, and it's literally probably about 50 meters drive from there to my house. I was like on the pedal so hard, I got into fourth gear just in that 50 meters. I was on it. I was in trouble. And I walked up my stairs. I farted a little bit. I thought nothing of it. I just hoped, really. And obviously sat in the toilet, looked down, and there was something in my pants.
I think all the mobility had relaxed you so much.
Yeah.
It just eased it.
Yeah, it was disgusting. I had to throw them out, but obviously I had to clean them down first. So I cleaned them down with the shower hose. Then I had to get in the shower myself. I had to have a full shower after it.
What I'm worried about is the gym that I'm at the moment, there's no toilet there.
Ooh.
So
that would be a problem. That'd be a massive problem.
Bring a bag for life with you and just hop outside.
So I make sure I have a toilet trip before I go. But I think psychologically, because you know there's not a toilet there, like normally it's not uncommon for me to nip to the toilet, once or twice in a session, once at the start and halfway through or whatever. But now, because I know there's not a toilet there, it's never on my mind at all. So I don't know.
Ooh. So I need to go a few times during a session.
Yeah.
Yeah. And usually as well, like for a number 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Normally I'm like 1 or 2 times a session. Yeah. Like for 2.
The pre-workout usually kickstarts the bowel.
It's the pre-workout's the thing.
Yeah.
And nerves.
Yeah.
Nerves as well.
Yeah. I'm not going to get into what I was just going to say, so I'll save that for another one. The final question, Jack's already asked it weeks ago, and he answered it as well. For you, Dan, if you could have one final meal, 3 courses for the final meal of your life, what's it going to be and why?
My starter. Does it have to be a typical starter?
No.
My starter would be probably. Oh, this is hard. A pasta bake, like a proper pasta bake, homemade. My mum used to make it for me all the time when I was a kid. I lived on it. I'll even go as far to say I used to prep on it when I was in uni. Then mains be steak and pasta. No, I had pasta already. Steak and chips, like homemade gourmet chips, like good ones. Then dessert would be cookies and ice cream.
Cookie. I was going to say a cookie.
A cookie. It would be all the cookies.
All the cookies.
All the cookies, yeah. Cookies and ice cream.
I want a final closing message to Jermaine. Yes, you're the only person in the fucking world that likes meringue. So,
I like meringue.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be the last choice.
For your final dessert.
Oh, right. Oh, no, he's got a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll have a bit of air for my last meal, please.
To be fair, though, in the last episode, Kevin did say that he'd want as his dessert just fresh air because he's fucking stuffed all the time. He's had enough of food. So, but he did say his side dish for his pizza would be another pizza. So,
yeah.
You know,
I would have pizza, but it would have to be only from Napoli or like Italy or somewhere. I can't.
Did you? What are the shit? What are they called? It's like the little pizza pocket things. I had one when I was in Italy. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those. Fucking hell, they're brilliant.
Oh, absolutely. Where did you go in Italy?
We stayed in like Lake Garda, and then we went to Venice for the day as well. So it was like up in the north. So it was really, really nice.
Lovely. Yeah.
So that was cool. On the roof of the hotel as well, it had like a heated swimming pool, and you could just see the mountains in the back, like full of snow. So that was cool.
So good.
Yeah.
I haven't been to.
But anyway, you haven't.
No, I need to.
It is really nice. So, but yeah, I'm happy to close the show, guys, if you're ready. It's been a long one, but it's been a good one.
Yeah, I need to eat. So.
Okie dokie.
Hours, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
And I need to get an early night ready for my early alarm for the gym. I'm not. The new routine. I'm not used to it at all. Struggle,
Yes.
but.
So what are you doing with your cardio then? If you're up early.
I'm doing it. So I did it just before this. I do it before this, then I eat. I don't like doing it at all. I hate doing fed cardio. It's I just don't. I don't feel it's the same. And also the thought of doing it when I'm like sat downstairs, the thought that I have to do cardio as opposed to when I do it straight away when I get up. But hopefully it's not going to be for too long. So we'll see.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
I feel like when I'm doing that cardio, I've just wasted the meal before.
Yeah. That. And I'd know it's not done. It'd be playing on my mind that I've got it to do, so I wouldn't be able to relax.
It does. It stresses me out all day.
Yeah.
But I've got to do it now, really. I even contemplated slightly dropping my food just so I don't have to do it. But I'm just not going to change anything. I don't want to change anything. So
just get it done, man. But yeah, I'll close the show. So thanks for Jack for coming on as a special host for this one. Big thank you to Dan for coming on, especially at short notice as well.
Oh, thank you for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
No, it's absolute pleasure. And if you're interested, we get you on with some other guests at another point, maybe discuss some topics as well.
Yeah, I'd love to, man. As long as they're not boring, I'm happy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I just ask Jack one thing.
Carry on.
326 pounds. What a load of bollocks.
I know what you're talking about.
326 pounds. That's Dallas McCarver.
It's £60 of head.
Okay.
This is £60.
All
Right, guys. Thank you for listening to another episode, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right, guys.